Okay, I think we should be
Yep.
live.
Yep.
I just want to check. Yeah, we should be live. Hey guys, welcome to another webinar of Success Starts with a Plan. And I'm just finding the Google Hangout page. Give me a second. Yes. Uh,
Sure.
Welcome. My name is David Pinto, and I'm with Renee Sullivan. And we have this. Well, we try to do it every single Wednesday. At times we cannot, but so far so good. We've been doing it quite often. But this is episode number 9, and we have a really interesting topic for you guys. Something that we think that is part and parcel of the journey of going through this plan that we have in place, or the plan that you have in place, or rather making a plan for yourself as well. So it has very much to do with your goals, your whys, your drive, and your motivation. So I'm gonna let Renee begin, and then we'll definitely get into it much more and have a nice discussion about it. So, guys, feel free to also post in the chat. Is open on if you're watching this on YouTube. So feel free to write in questions there in case you want us to address it as well.
Absolutely. So, hey, everybody. Yes, the topic we're going to do was a great suggestion, and it's really about your not just success starts with a plan, but your life plan. Okay, and I'm actually going to go back because we were discussing, how we were going to do this, and if you don't mind giving me a moment,
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to go back to that because it's really important how we wanted to do it. Okay, so. All right, good. So the basic premise behind it is, why would you even want to join a business? Getting down to and what your true intentions are. And sometimes, and most of the time, even though you think it's making money online, it's really not just that. Or it's not just, I want to do this just to quit my job. Okay, there's much deeper reasons that you don't even necessarily tell anybody why. Okay, and we don't necessarily even, sometimes you don't know that in the very beginning either. Like, you think it's one thing, but it really becomes something else. And basically, it's what you truly want to get out of life, that complete freedom. And it usually takes more than just a weekend away, like on vacation. Okay, this is a journey of why you actually want to do this. So let's go back to the very beginning of what I just said. Why the heck would you choose starting a business rather than, pursuing more in a job? And you could do both, and there's nothing wrong with either one. And I will go back to what my choice was. Okay, so when I started, I actually had a job. Okay, my intention in the very beginning, yes, I wanted to make more money, and I knew I needed another stream of income. But the real reason behind that whole thing goes back to like 20 years prior. Okay, it goes back to, I wanted more freedom for myself to do what I wanted with my kids. And it took so much longer than just, okay, I'm working a job, I have a business now, and I want to spend time with my family. So a lot of what I did parts and parts and parts of different things. But the deeper meaning behind it is, I just wanted to have a better life for my family. And even though I didn't know the how of it all, I, I I thought it was, okay, let's start a business and do that. But there's so much more in that journey, that that it's in that whole discovery of what you're doing, that you really discover the deeper meaning. Okay. And I know I'm kind of talking in metaphors, but for every single person, it's different. Okay. So where I am now to when I started almost 5 years ago, gosh, in a month, it's going to be 5 years. It's going to be 5 years in a month. What is internet marketing is really a stepping stone. In my case, it doesn't have to be for you. It's really a stepping stone to what's your true meaning of life. Okay? So, in whatever you do, there's a process and there's steps to get there. Okay? You start with, okay, this is the online business because for some reason, someone posted something, or someone made a YouTube video, or someone sent you information about wanting to get started, and you in your own self had some kind of dissatisfaction, or a feeling of, I need something else fulfilled. Okay? So you actually took the time to take a look at that. Okay? What you did with that is really your deeper meaning to what actually transpired from that. In my case, I was truly looking for a way out of work, but I knew that I had to learn some things. So basically, that internet marketing thing, and again, I followed people and did my version of following a plan. But 5 years later, that plan that I followed in internet marketing has led to so many other things that I'm doing the internet marketing, but I'm also doing things offline. I'm also doing things with my family that I never thought I would do. Okay. I'm also doing things that I never told anybody about. Okay. And a big part of that is just developing my own human self and building confidence in myself. So how do you really get there? You've got to have some kind of success plan. You've got to have something that you can follow and be consistent about. Otherwise, you're not going to get there. And you don't know what you don't know. Like in 5 years, I had no idea what I was really truly getting into until I actually got into it. But what a journey. Okay. What an amazing journey it's been from day one, even though not all of it was pretty. Okay. It was all okay. I thought I knew how to market, but then I realized, oh, okay, that's really not the right way to go about it. And the only way you find out is by actually doing it. So I'm going to let David talk a little bit about his journey, and then we'll get into nitty gritty and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to preface it that way because that's really kind of what happens. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And I think, at least before I get in, I've been actually having this discussion with many people and myself as well, over the last few months. And the reason why is, I'll get into the story that I'm going to share with you. Just it's more my story, in like just how Renee shared in what her motivation was. I had a very simple motivation, even looking online. The thing is, I am also, let's say, I saw the phase of everything going into social media, going into, let's say, the internet, in knowing that you can do things online. I was accustomed to it. I enjoyed it. I saw people around me do it, and I was like, wow, that's super interesting. But all of them had like a traditional business. But I never ever thought that it would be something for me. I never thought that I would jump into it or actually say, hey, that's something that I might do in the future. I was all about, I had an entrepreneurial spirit, let's say, right from my childhood, but I never thought of it in a digital aspect. And now I know that most of you might have either had parents or relatives or somebody tell you, go on the street, sell lemonade, sell, do something. You have an entrepreneurial spirit within you because society doesn't frown upon it at all. In
Nope.
fact, it encourages it. But the whole new way of working is what pushed people aside and said, made people skeptical, including, so it doesn't come to you naturally. It takes a while before that switch happens in your brain and say, oh, but it can be done, right? And right now as well, I have a full-time job, and if I think about my job, I'm working for a website. just to tell you. So it's very much in a digital kind of age in itself, right? So I never thought of doing anything online as such, but I had quite other few other projects going on in the back end in India. And my main aim was I want to pay for a plane ticket whenever I want to come here where I live right now in the Czech Republic, to visit my girlfriend, or pay for her ticket to come to India. That was my intention. That was my motivation. That was my why at that point. Now, obviously, that has evolved into things that are very simplistic for me right now. From ambitions, from big ambitions to simplistic visions, I would say. I would put it as that. And the journey has been incredible because I'm going to say something that Tony Robbins has repeated, I don't know how many times in how many years, but he says raise your standards, right? You don't have the shoulds, but convert the shoulds into musts. If you do that, then you have no choice. It's like going to an island and saying, I want to survive here, but I'm going to keep two boats just, there so I can escape at any time. No, the first thing that you want to do if you want to change the shit to must is burn the boats so that you will find a way to survive, right? So that's exactly the thing. You're raising your standards on a daily basis. And that's what it's done for me personally. And it's led me to learning skills, and I'm going to go to the skills aspect of it because I had a discussion actually with my mother, uh, to be honest, and it was an incredible conversation because we went into the hardships of things that you might face on a day-to-day basis in the corporate world or having a job and stuff like that. But the reality is, in today's world, the kind of jobs that we have available, they don't give us the same hard work or work ethic and skill sets that we need. They actually take it away.
Hmm.
And so and don't get me wrong, you need to go through, as Renee said, personally develop yourself in anything that you're doing. There's a journey that you learn and you go through, as all of us do. That's life, to be honest, right? We go through that. So don't shy away from the hard work. Don't shy away from experiencing it, the ups and downs and stuff like that. Live through it, right? Live through it. So because you're learning things along the way. But in a working environment, in a corporate structure right now, there are a lot of jobs that have a title but have no value in terms of skill sets. You're not learning anything, and you could be doing that for the next 10 years. So the struggle that somebody has, especially youth right now, when they're fired, oh, what do I do? I don't know what skill sets I've learned in the last 10 years to even sell myself for a simple thing that I know how to do, which could be even communication for that matter. I don't really recognize that you have learned skill sets along the way. So they don't allow the space to be there. So when you raise your standards and you look at everything, one of the reasons why I have looked back at my journey and said, wow, if I hadn't started this journey in internet marketing, I wouldn't have learned the skill sets that I have now that have opened up so many more opportunities for me. So my life plan has a direct impact on my financial, but at the same time I'm learning so many skills along the way which I would have never learned. I would have never done marketing for my university just to help them out and see how things are, because I don't know whether you know this, guys, but universities, NGOs and stuff like that, Google AdWords gives you guys a budget just like that because they want to help you. Okay, so that was for me an area which I was able to discover. And how did I learn that? Actually, internet marketing helped me to be able to advertise those things for the university. So, I mean, you learn skill sets along the way, which I never thought I would. So the motivation has changed. Definitely, my why is my family now and everything else. But the journey still is always improving those skills along the way. And the discussion with my mom ended up with, yes, I agree, we can learn the skills, yes, the hard work, but it's not as it was before, that you could have a skill set and learn for and master that craft, for the rest of your life. No, you can do it on your own. You don't need to do it in a business at this point of time. And I
Yeah.
think personally, if somebody doesn't have an extra stream of income, um all the best.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to add to what you said about your like those skills that you're learning. And I kind of learned it in reverse. Okay. Um, I had a job several years ago as a receptionist in a bank. And I didn't really love that job. I did it and I think I was okay at it. I wasn't phenomenal or anything like that at it. There were aspects of it that um, helped me actually grow as a person and be a better communicator and get better problem solving skills. Little did I know then, while I was sitting there as a receptionist, that those skills that I developed are a huge part of the newer business that I'm developing right now, helping other business owners find professionals that work in an office and do those skills. And part of what I'm doing with the business owners is training people on the right kind of skills to have when they're actually hiring people to do that job. But it's so funny, like as I was doing this job, my perception of what this job was to get more money for my business and build my business. But it's very interesting how that plays out. At the time, I was kind of sitting there saying, "Oh gosh, I have a master's degree in speech pathology, and I'm here sitting as a receptionist. How the heck is that really helping me?" I mean, I knew that everything you do, there's a purpose and there's a reason. Little did I know that being a receptionist was going to be pivotal in my business now, because gosh, I've taken that skill and put it into a business, just because I found a need out there that business owners need. They're out doing a fabulous job at their business, but there's things in their office that they can't get done because they just can't find the right people, or they just don't have time to do that. And again, this is not a pitch for my business whatsoever, but it's just an example of, you don't know at the time why you're doing what you're doing, but there's a higher power that there's a reason why you're in a certain thing doing something now. And that could be applied to your learning skills as a marketer online. You don't know what that's going to do for you in the next couple years, because that's off your radar screen. You don't know that stuff. So I just wanted to add that in there. Embrace what you're doing right now, because it's going to help you, whether you like it or not. It's going to help you down the road, because that struggle or whatever, that challenge that you're having right now, helps you grow as a person, and then that actually helps you with that life plan.
Yeah,
So
and it's also about recognizing the fact that you have these skills. See, the a lot of the times we tend to absorb information and absorb things and on a daily basis, and we don't think of it as a skill set because, oh, I'm doing it. I do it every day, and it's fine, and it's normal, and everything's cool. But if you just pay attention to yourself in this way, and I think in some aspects, internet marketing has helped us, me personally at least, be conscious of it. And to be honest, success starts with a plan the reason why we even wanted to do these webinars and have this plan in place for you guys is because it works for us, and it empowers you to learn these skill sets. It empowers you to ask yourself this question: am I supposed to do this for my life? Am I supposed to have it in the background or not? Why do I want to start it? Okay, we're not telling you to blindly go ahead and create a plan and have the money targets and stuff like that. Yes, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good to have those goals and motivations there for you right in front of your face. But at the same time, it's super important, I think, to understand what skill sets you're learning along the way. So the fact that we tell you, hey, you should do YouTube videos. Why? Because it's powerful. You become a better communicator. You are allowed, you are not camera shy anymore. These are all things that help you improve yourself. They have no benefit for us. They have no benefit for us at all. Okay, it's all about the person who's in front of us at that point of time. And if you don't take action on yourself, you're not really living your life. That's the thing. Whether it is getting a business or not getting a business, that's up to you. But really starting something in this time, if in my like I said before, in my opinion, if you don't have something going on besides one income stream, it's really hard to survive in today's world. Okay, so if I think of what can I do? Oh, I want to get into investments. If I even read a book, like a simple book, and you start off with the mindset and say, I'm going to read a book, I'm going to get rich dad poor dad and read a book, and you come to the whole cash flow quadrant and stuff like
Yeah.
that, where you read about the four kinds of things. What do most of us immediately want to do? They want to go into the investment side, right? Oh, I have a little extra money, I'm going to go to the investment side. Okay, then they go to the bank, they say, I'm going to invest in this, and that's fine. Okay, but do you have the right mentality to invest in that? If you have a little fund, a little money, are you going to invest it for the long term? How long are you going to invest it? These are the kind of questions that you have to ask yourself, because you're doing something passively. But I need to have a job in the meantime, right? Even though you're doing something else, you still have one kind of stream of income. Now, you can have a long term and a short term, and this is why I say, like, kind of life plans and what we were talking about. Why would you even start a business? When you think about it, getting started with a simple business model is a faster and less risk option than any of the other things. And it actually follows the cash flow quadrant perfectly, because you can go along upward. But no, people want to jump to the end, right? That's the initial, like, knee-jerk reaction, let's say. You want to
Yep.
jump to the end. So I have thought of it millions of times myself personally, and try to convince myself to stop doing this. And yes, guys, I just said that. I tried to convince myself to stop doing this. Because I said, is it too much for me? Am I seeing the results that I want? Why does Rob say to follow a plan in a specific way? These are the kind of questions that have come to my mind many times. And I have reached out to Renee, I've reached out to people, that there are moments we support each other, and that's completely fine. But I cannot at any point of time, and I know even if I start something else, this is going to be running in the background for me. Why? Because it just makes sense. So I would say, who's going to join? Your story can influence other people. As you can see, Renee and myself, we don't have the same story at all. And we don't have I invested $10,000 and more and whatever, and failed. And no, I don't have that kind of a story. I resonate with that kind of story. Don't get me wrong. I did have lost money because of things that me trying to exactly do and jump to the last. I made those mistakes, but I'm not gonna create a sob story or sad story or whatever. As And don't get me wrong, these stories are true for people, and I resonate with them, and they're courageous. They have the right mindset, the right actions that they're taking, right? And that's why they get a bigger result in a faster span of time. But if you are somebody who says, okay, I want to do something on the side, but doesn't make sense, will I be able to communicate? Will I be able to make a sale? All you need to do is start, to be honest. Whether it's communicating a story, whether even those pauses, I mean, I'm so serious, even like just a pause, and you're talking about something and you stop and you don't know how to say it. People resonate with those things. Why? Because at the end of the day, you are you. And this is why, like, your life can be super important to decide whether somebody joins you in the business or not. I'm saying this because I was reading the messages and seeing, like, the different points that we
Yes.
had of why and who in their right mind would join you in a business. What are the things that impact you and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying this, guys. If you're just yourself, it does have a larger impact because people join people at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing before I pass it on to Renee to if she wants to add on anything. um, I'll give you an example. I am literally seeing this in different industries because I personally want to start something of my own here in Czech Republic, which is not really related to anything that I'm doing. This is going to always be there. I know for a fact that I'm not gonna, let it go. And I like doing it. But I also wanted to have another initiative, another project, let's say, of mine in place. And I was listening to a webinar from one of the, let's say, consultants of this project that I'm thinking about, right? And the intention of just to get a client and speak to them, the first thing is, do you know their desires, and do you know a little bit more about them? This is relationship building, because no matter what business you are in, you need to build a relationship with the person. So whether you're just starting, and you will do this even if you don't have a business, and even if you have a job and you're walking around, you have to work with somebody, you're building a relationship. So it exists in the first place, everywhere, everywhere. So it's super important to get that in your head, that people join people no matter what offers we leverage, no matter what solutions we provide. People join people. That's why Facebook is the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
because people wanted to connect with more people.
Yep. Absolutely. Getting on to the relationship building part of things, as David said, no matter what you're doing, even if you're single and and want to find another partner, you are building a relationship with people because you're connecting in some way, or you're not connecting in some way. Something that you're going to do or say is either going to draw someone to you or draw someone away from you. And it's okay, because as long as you are who you are, then that authenticity of you is going to come through. In internet marketing, what you've got to learn to do is to take whatever your conversation you're going to have in person with someone or group of people, doesn't matter whether it's, and just apply that to who do you really truly want to spend time with. That's really what it amounts to, because in internet marketing, the beauty of that, of starting your own business, is you can filter in and out those people that you want to work with. And in the beginning, you don't really know that yet, but that's just the part that's the learning curve part of things. You feel like you want to take everybody, and many times you do, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because then in that process, you're seeing, oh, I like working with this type of person, or oh gosh, I don't like working with that person because of whatever reason. It doesn't. That's the luxury. And again, internet marketing is never going to leave my life. Just like David said, the same thing. It is another stream of income that I love. And I absolutely, the part that I love about it is that I do get to pick and choose who I want to mentor, or sometimes they choose me. Okay. And you develop that relationship. And the good thing about it is, the more you find more people that want to connect with you, the better you better yourself. Okay. So what you've got to do is actually follow the plan and keep doing that, because you don't get to that point without that consistency, without that plan. And you don't get your own voice in the plan until you actually go through those steps and go through that process. And you decide for yourself how you're going to implement that plan. Okay. When you're first starting, you're just following it. And this is exactly the way it happened for myself. And I know how it happened with David and anyone else who's listening. You're following someone else's plan until you own it for yourself and you make it how you want it to be. And again, the plan I'm following is literally Rob's plan, okay? But it stemmed from a mentor of ours plan, but you've taken those ideas and you've taken the skills, and you've made it your own. But the core of what it's about is always there. You have your business, you have your ways of presenting it to others and many people at the same time. You have your traffic sources and that kind of stuff. However you want to call it, those basic elements have to be there for it to actually work. And you yourself actually have to do it. And then it becomes what you want it to be. The other part, what was I going to say? Oh, one of the things mentioned is maybe you have a deeper motive other than I just want to quit my job, or I just want to, further my life. For some people, it's really developing yourself so that those doubters in your life, because we all have them. We all have people who tell you, that's not going to work. Why don't you get a real job? And, why don't you do the point where for some people's motivation, it is, I want to prove to those people, whether in person or not, that you can do it. You can become a success. And whatever your definition of success is really your definition. It's not anyone else's success. It's your own. It's just being able to say, yeah, they told me I couldn't, but guess what? I did. And sometimes that is a motivator. I'm not saying it's like that for everybody, but for some people it is. For me, it was more about becoming a better version of myself. It wasn't really to tell anybody off, or wasn't really to prove the doubters, because maybe in the beginning I thought, oh yeah, I'm just going to prove them wrong. That's really not my personality. My personality is, it didn't really matter what anyone else did or said to me. It was, what mattered more is, did I, number one, have more time for myself and my family? Number two, was I able to expand, my career and find other opportunities? Was I able to develop my own confidence in myself? Because for me, confidence was a huge thing for me. You get to decide that. And again, you don't know in the beginning exactly what that is until you actually just start. So there's always a deeper reason. And again, you don't always tell people what that reason is. And I personally, I don't think you should, because there could be those people that are going to say, well, that's a stupid reason, or, you shouldn't do that, because it just becomes more about you and then the life lessons that you learn along the way. That's your life plan. And you don't necessarily know what it's going to be until you get into it.
Yeah, you'll always get the haters who will not want to agree on anything. That's by default going to be there, but that's also a positive sign for you, because it shows that what you're saying is actually impacting people. And most of the time, the people who are trolling and stuff like that are not getting enough of results themselves. So I wouldn't go into thinking about it that way, but rather having this plan is something that I never thought that would impact my life the way it has, which is why, like, from a simple thing to even reading more and everything, like it's gotten up to a point, I think, for both of us, that it's just second nature.
Yeah.
Something is missing if we don't do it the way that we should. And what I was thinking, what I wanted to say as well while you were speaking, was that this is completely right. You take Rob's plan, for example, or our plan that we're mentioning right here, and it goes along in stages. But I'm not jumping into every opportunity that he is or somebody else is or whatever. I make my own choices, guys, and we are our own individuals, so we make our own choices on what we can and cannot do, whether it's financially, whether it is emotionally, whether it is anything. We make those decisions. So at this point of time, for example, I know since the last year that I've had my whole, system in place and everything running for me and stuff like that, and this plan working, which is like similar to, it's actually the same as Rob's and everything else. What has evolved is my message, my communication, my vision has become clearer, my idea of what I want from it has become clearer. So how I'm explaining it to somebody who just joins is completely different of just telling them, hey, this is what it is, this is how you do it, and that's it. I would love to tell you that, but I also want to share a little bit more about myself right from the get-go. And that doesn't have to mean my story completely, but it's, for example, I've seen that what we were talking about, or what we are talking about on this webinar as well, in terms of skill sets and everything else. My whole funnel, or my whole system, has taken a different shape in the messaging. Remember, I'm not changing anything else. It's just the message that I'm putting out there, and that's fine. And that evolves as I evolve as well, right? That changes as I change. And still, I would never go back to not having something like this in the background running for me, because I see people, I know myself personally, but I see people who have just one income stream and what it can do to your time, firstly, to your time, and to your state, your everyday state on how you're living. So
Yep.
I think it's less riskier. And to be honest, if people are pushing you to say, this is not the usual, please get a job, a good comeback would be, I don't want to just be over broke. Because but I'm not saying you have to be sneaky or snarky, sorry, or anything like that. No, but the point is still there is the fact that it makes more sense to take control of the skill sets and the journey that you can control going ahead.
Yep. And what I've actually seen is that you tend to get more people like you the more you are in the mindset of you need more than one source. Okay, those people that think you only need one source in my life now, they're not even around me anymore. Because even people who have a job, they have more than one job because they know that one job isn't going to cut it anymore. Okay, you've got to have different streams, and whether it be your business having different streams or your job having different streams, that's just the way that's just reality right now. And embracing it is going to be a good thing for you. Once you make that decision to do that, that's really the reality, and that's what you have to do. So make it work and have a plan. If you're going to do it, the online marketing way, follow a plan. Stick
Yeah,
to
and
it.
it's not going to take a weekend. It's not going to take, it's going to take some time, guys, and that's the reality of the situation. Whether it is, whether it's an offline or it's an online or whatever kind of business, it does take time. It does take effort. It does take your, being, let's say, there.
Yeah.
I,
Be
I-
present in your own life. Honestly, don't just if you just go through the motions, you're not going to grow. Okay, I actually went through a 3-day leadership training, and one of the biggest messages is if you're not, and we hear it in so many different ways, if you're not growing or expanding yourself, you're literally dying.
Mhm.
You're going backwards if you're not doing it that way. So why not embrace the fact that you have people before you who have a plan and follow it? And once you learn those skills, once you develop, you make it. You like David said, you pick and choose what works for you. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing or what David's doing or what Rob's doing or what Joe is doing. Okay, you just follow that until okay, this works, this resonates with me. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. Or this totally is not me. Okay, we can eliminate that. And there's nothing wrong. In the beginning I thought, oh my god, it's so horrible if I have to get rid of this or this left itself. It's really not. It's just a process you go to say, oh, okay, well, that didn't really resonate with me this time. So I know that those types of things just don't work for me. I'm not saying they don't work at all, because for some people, for the people who are passionate about a certain type of thing, it does work if you work it and you feel it. Okay. So just keep in mind to continue, get a plan, stick with it, and it becomes your life plan, your freedom plan, or however you want to term it. What you do now is going to help you in the future with that life plan.
Yep, completely agree. It's like taking care of a kid or something. Just a second, because I'm reading the comments. No sound. I think Sultan, if that's your name, just refresh your screen. It should be fine, because I haven't heard any other complaints. And I just checked myself, and everything is fine. So just do that. But yeah, it's like actually being persistent. That's like a new thing that you want to learn, whether it's yourself, whether it's teaching somebody else. You got to be persistent with keeping up to those new things in your life. I mean, even at a job, you would be persistent enough to learn that job well, right? What you need to do on a daily basis well, and that's the reality. So be persistent about it, and that's why we have plans in place for you to be persistent about it. We keep coming back to consistency and persistence about things, because that's what we do on a daily basis. And honestly, when I have been I was sick a couple of weeks ago, which is why, I mean, we still did the webinar, but I was still sick that time, and stuff like that. And I haven't got back on track 100% to what I was doing, but I have made those progresses and going. And if I don't do these things persistently and keep persisting according to the plan, I wake up one morning and I feel like something's missing.
Yep.
So it's that simple. Like, you make it. Tony Robbins says, and I'm bringing back Tony Robbins, it's natural for humans to start to think to raise their standards, and in fact you should be raising your standards. Otherwise, you're, as Renee said, not living, you're dying actually, because you're not raising your standards on a daily basis or a monthly basis, whatever it is. Raise your standards, change your shoulds into musts, but then when you raise your standards, they become your rituals, and if they become your rituals, then they become your life, and that you're raising your standards is all based on your rituals. So it becomes part of your life. It's not like you say, oh, there's more than 24 hours for Renee and David. No, it's the same amount of time. How do you have the rituals to manage whatever you need to do in that same amount of time? So focus on raising the standards, and it could be just one standard better than the next day. I remember, Renee, you for sure remember this, from not one of our older mentors or one of the people who just started. 1% daily. Change whatever you have on a 1% daily basis, right? That's exactly the same thing as raising your standards.
Yep.
Get that 1% improvement. You don't need a 400,000% improvement. No, 1%.
Yep.
Aim for that, or 0.5%, whatever it is. It's something better than yesterday. That's all.
And you need to track that and recognize yourself for that 1%, because even though it might seem little, it really means a lot, because it's going to increase as you get better. So you're right.
Yeah, and I mean this covers all aspects of what we wanted to talk about. Literally, from our whys on certain things, on what we need to do consistently, why we feel that this is a good area to be in. But like we said, it's always up to you to make this choice and decision. If you do want to reach out to any one of us, Rob couldn't make it on this webinar, and I just wanted to mention that to you guys as well. It is something that he would have. In short, his story is life changing. But it's completely the same plan that we are following. It's exactly the same plan that we are following, but the mindset behind it is more than 100% the same. Which
Mhm.
is why it would be great, even if you want to reach out to him. What I've done is in the description of this on this video on YouTube, if you're watching it, there's a link to his YouTube channel. Go to it, reach out to him, check out the videos, go through his stuff. The same with Renee, the same with me. Feel free to do that, because that will get you at least a little bit more of an insight on who we are and why we're doing this and how long we want to continue to do it. Okay, that's just we have no links to anything, just our YouTube channel, so you can reach out to us and check out our content. Okay, other than that, Renee, I don't know whether you want to add anything.
No, you've summed it up pretty well.
Cool. Then, guys, we apologize. Obviously, I didn't expect too many viewers today, because usually we do it on a Wednesday. Today's a Thursday. It happens.
Mhm.
We are trying our best to have this every single Wednesday. Renee's in the US.
Mhm.
I'm here in Czech Republic. There is a time difference. I forgot. I didn't even know that there was a time change
Yeah,
today. So
and the funny thing, David, is not every state actually does the time change. So that add that in other element, but I'm one of the states that actually does do the time change. So
yeah. So I mean, we will keep doing and trying to be as consistent as we can with these webinars on Wednesdays, because I know that people are looking forward to them on Wednesdays at least. But we will definitely accommodate to that if we cannot, or if we have to do it on another day.
Yep.
Sometimes it'll be spontaneous, sometimes it will not,
Sometimes, like today, it's spontaneous.
because of the change or whatever. What is not my? I'm not going to say anything besides, because I know that this is
Life.
completely
Guess
on me.
what? It's life. Okay.
Exactly.
Today is an absolute proof that it's life.
But we are definitely going to be here to support you guys at any point of time. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So links are in the description in case you want to reach out to Renee, to Rob, myself. We always include him. He will come on, guys. He's not an imaginary person. He will come on and speak to you, and I guess you'll hear from him soon also. um yeah, and that's it. I think we'll see you next week.
All right. See ya.